Hey everyone, welcome to this week's art video. Sorry that it is missing like a big chunk of drawing from the very beginning. Sometimes when I record with Procreate, it just like doesn't record the very beginning. It's kind of annoying, but yeah. I actually kind of had a lot of difficulty filming this particular drawing. It kept acting like it was recording, and then when I would go to save the recorded file, it wouldn't give me the option, and that whole chunk is just gone, so yeah. Anyway, I still have like over 7 hours of footage on this piece, so I figured that it would be okay. Anyway, I am doing this in Procreate on my iPad. I really have been loving using Procreate. I love digital art, and it's just really nice to be able to sit anywhere and have this in my lap and draw. That's why you see me using it so much. This kind of just started as a doodle, and then it turned into a vampire character. So many people are posting about Halloween and whatnot, and it's getting me excited about Halloween. It's one of my favorites. So I'm starting early too with this Halloween stuff, I guess. I've been trying to do more full body pieces to get out of my comfort zone. Usually I just like do a bust, like the head and shoulders maybe, but I've been trying to practice doing whole bodies and stuff. Really what I need to work on now is men, because all I draw are girls and that's starting to become my comfort zone, so I need to practice dudes. I don't really draw guys that much because it's hard basically, but that's not really that great of an excuse. I should practice, so yeah, maybe the next drawing I'll draw a guy. Who knows? Maybe I'll just slide right back into my comfort zone. So I started shading this, and then about halfway through I decided that I wanted to do this as my coloring club line art. So I went back and did the line art for this whole thing, which of course I lost the footage because Procreate didn't record it, so I'm sorry about that. I went through, colored everything, shaded everything. I decided to do the technique where you shade everything first and then go back and color it. So as I was drawing this too, I really liked the shirt that she's wearing, and I kind of want to make one. So I was considering doing that as a DIY. So if there's interest, then I'll make one and show you guys how I did it. I don't really know what else to talk about in this video. I'm aiming to keep it on the longer side so you can actually see what I'm doing, but that results in a lot of dead air from me, I guess. So I'm just gonna let the music play, and then if anything else happens where I want to say something, then I'll pop in real quick.
Here we go once again, foreign memories, lying amen. Don't you worry, it's gonna be alright. 'Cause I'm the judge and jury, and we'll be up all night. You better check for pose. You better check for pose. You better check for all the bad things love can bring, all in the blind spot that we don't see. Wipe the dirt from your face, dry your eyes, and I'll play the ends. Ride along, there's a place where you belong. Shake your ass, don't you worry about the future, about the past. You will hurt the ones that love you, and they will hurt you right back. Sing along, sing along. Our love is a heart attack. You better check for pulse. better check for pose. You better check for pose. You better check for pose. So check for pose. You better check for pose. If it's goodbye, well, don't miss out. Head up high, come on, wave your flag. We're all in this without a clue. In the madness, but what can you do? Ride along, there's a place where you belong. Shake your ass, don't you worry about the future, about the past. You will hurt the ones that love you, and they will hurt you right back. Sing along, our love is a heart attack. Just ride along, there's a place where you belong. Shake your ass, don't you worry about the future, about the past. You will hurt the ones who love you, and they will hurt you right back. So sing along, our love is a heart attack. You better check for pose. You better check for pose. You better check for pose.
Oh, so here you can see the line art that I had done. Basically what's going to be uploaded for my Patreon monthly coloring club. And in this particular part, I'm selecting like all the hair detail that I drew in, and I'm copying it onto its own thing, and I'm going to like adjust the settings on it so that it shows up in my painting. And here I'm getting ready to color it. So I added a background color and then adjusted the shading painting part to a different color, and I just started adding colors on top. I selected the skin color I wanted to use, I painted it on, and then I adjusted the layer settings. I think I made them to overlay, or I might have done soft light, but basically it shows the shading still and then also puts the color down. And you can see I kept messing with the background and the shading layer. I wanted it to be more Halloween-y, I guess, so yeah, that's why I made it orange in the back. I colored in some more things. And then I went in and meticulously painted around the whole background to get rid of the base orange, I guess. This helps make the image pop when you do this kind of stuff. A lot of times people ask me why I bothered to do a background, a solid color, only to cover it with white or a different color. And yeah, I don't know. It's just something I like to do, I guess. You can see here that I ended up letting the orange background be the color of her jacket too. I also went and I messed with the settings of the white background layer until it looked like how I wanted, which it turns out this gray looked pretty good, so I kept it. And then here I'm adding a little more detail to the skin, flushed up her cheeks, colored her eyes in, whitened her teeth, added her jewelry back in. And then I decided that I kind of liked how the line art looked a little bit on the whole thing. So I overlaid the line art on top again and erased it in some of the spots that didn't really match up anymore. And then it was pretty much finishing touches, putting in the face highlights and adjusting her lipstick. almost forgot to shade her hair. I kind of just did it roughly because it was getting pretty late at this point. I messed with some color settings. I added a textured vignette. And then I'm pretty sure the end of this is just me messing with a bunch of the settings until I was happy with how it looked. Oh, and I attempted to do that color shifting thing on this piece too. Oh yeah, I totally forgot. I had to add the zipper in. To make it super easy on myself, I just made a zipper brush. I actually decided to do this when I was doing the line art, and I went to draw the zipper on, and it was being a pain in the ass because you had to sit there and individually draw each zipper tooth, and I was like, there has to be a better way, and so I messed with making a brush, and yeah. So I figured I would show you guys how I did it, just real quick. If you're using Procreate, then this could possibly help you. So I like to mess with brushes a lot. One of the ways that I find it's easiest to learn is to just play around and mess with brush creation on my own. I do this in Photoshop, and I recently started doing this here in Procreate. But of course, sometimes it helps to find a brush making tutorial. Since I made a zipper toothbrush while I made this drawing, I figured I would show you guys how I did it. I opened up a new document in Procreate, and I disabled the background so that it looks like this. Using white, I took a brush that had no texture to it, and I drew a little zipper tooth. I made sure to fade out the ends so that it would blend together better. Once that was done, I saved it onto my iPad as a PNG file. And then I went to the brushes. I went all the way to textures because that's just where I like to keep these sorts of brushes, and I made a new brush. From here you have shape source and you have grain source. So for shape source, go and select the shape that you just saved. And then for grain source, go and select a texture. You'll probably have to go on Google or something and search for textures and just save one that looks like it would work. I mean, that's pretty much what I did. I have a bunch of random textures saved from messing with brushes before. So then once you have selected these, you have your brush. But you still need to do a little bit of tweaking to make it work just right. So first, go over to the Shape tab, and then on Rotation, move it all the way to the right until it says Follow Stroke. And then go back to the Stroke tab and adjust the spacing until they look right. And that's pretty much it. You can get out of this and then mess with your new brush and see how it works. This one is good for line art, but I wanted to do one that would be used for whenever I'm coloring the drawing. So I went in and basically filled in the zipper tooth, and then I did like what I did before. Saved it, made a new brush, selected the new filled in zipper tooth image as the shape source, and then I picked a texture for the grain source. I adjusted the rotation and the spacing, and here it is. I hope this was somewhat helpful for you guys. If you're trying to make brushes in Procreate, you can use this technique to make a bunch of different kinds of brushes. I've seen people do chains with these settings on this kind of brush. I've seen rope. I've seen people do embroidery patterns, a whole bunch of stuff. But yeah, and now back to the drawing. So yeah, I took that brush and painted the zipper on, and it was super easy. So then I went back and added some super glowy highlights. I just thought that it would be fun, I guess. and then I'm pretty much done. If you want to try your hand at coloring this piece, then you can become a member of my Patreon coloring club. I'll leave a link to my Patreon down below and you can go check it out. And also I probably added a card for it earlier, so it should be up in the corner of the video. If you like this piece, then please leave a like, and if you want to see more, then feel free to subscribe. I post art videos every Tuesday and DIY videos every Thursday, and yeah. So I'll see you guys later this week.